Top 5 Horror Movies Banned in Many Countries. Since movies have the potential to be emotionally damaging for some viewers, it's not surprising that some horror films are banned in some places. Horror movies have long been a popular medium for thrill-seeking. As the genre ages, however, horror movies become more gory, more real, and downright unsettling. While there is a relatively high tolerance for scary content or graphics in horror movies in the United States, other countries are not always open to it. In fact, some horror films are considered too much or problematic, and as a result have been banned in other countries. There are many reasons for these bans, from the way they represent the country, to prioritizing citizens' mental health. In some extremes, it is used for control. There is much debate on the subject of banning any artistic medium because, from one perspective, it is controlling information. But from another perspective, it's a way to protect people from hurtful content that can have lasting effects on mental health and crime rates. Because of this, some places that regularly use bans on certain vehicles, and some that don't want to use bans, use restrictions on information. Here are 5 notable horror movies banned in different countries. The Human Centipede 2. Prohibited country, Australia. Although Australia has had a much longer list of banned horror films over the years, today it retains a few names that are deemed too inappropriate for any Australian citizen. Previously, this list featured prominent names such as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Chainsaw Massacre 2, The Last House on the Left and a few more. However, these films were accepted and the ban was lifted. The Human Centipede 2 was banned in 2011 because of the crude images it presented and the excessive cruelty of the plot. In some other countries, it has annoyed a large number of viewers and is likely to leave many people hurt as it continues the nightmarish narrative concocted in the first installment. It's no surprise that it's still the title of a movie banned from the government in this country. I Spit on Your Grave. Prohibited countries, Australia, Canada, Germany, Iceland. Although this 1978 film is widely seen as a tale of justice, the images and concepts it contains can be extremely provocative, especially for victims of sexual violence. The content it deals with is intense in many ways. The film follows a plot involving 2 of the most brutal acts of violence that can be committed, making it a haunting film for most viewers. Because of its extreme content, some countries have banned this movie. In Iceland, the film is explicitly banned for its violence, but in the rest of the country it is banned for a variety of reasons, although there are a few cities in Canada that are still allowed to show the film in briefly included Manitoba, Nova Scotia, and Quebec. The Hunger. Prohibited country, Chile. This 1983 horror film is perhaps best known for starring famous rock artist David Bowie, who played a significant role in the 70s to 90s. As its story involved the dark arts, a relatively controlled love triangle and gore, it was deemed unfit for Chilean standards. World War Z. Banned country, China. What makes this ban interesting is that it has less to do with the content of the movie and more to do with who is part of it. In fact, the reason this movie was banned is basically because of another movie. 1997 7 Years in Tibet, the movie that indirectly caused the ban of World War Z starring Brad Pitt, portrayed Chinese soldiers as bad guys. Not happy about this, the government of billions of people has banned the film and as a result, Brad Pitt and the actors involved will also be banned from showing their works in China. Hostel, Part 2. Prohibited country, Germany. As the country with the longest list of banned titles, it can be seen that Germany's horror film acceptance standard is quite high. However, one horror movie that some people in other countries have watched over and over again makes this list is Hostel, Part 2, especially its uncut version. The content of this entire series is focused on torture and sick individuals, willing to go to great lengths to control and hurt others. Although there are more than these names, These horror movies contain many messages that affect users, even pop culture, so they become scary in the eyes of many people.